Well, all right, all right, all right, all right. It is another glorious, glorious Wednesday, and you know what time it is now. Get your crumpets together, because, baby, it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meach. Hello there, my tea sippers out there. How are you? How are you? How are you? Yours truly, I am deliciously divine. It's like 90-something degrees out here already. The humidity is on cook a bitch quickly. And, yeah, we're going to do it. That's how it is down here in the ATL. If you're listening by computer and wish to join in the conversation, please feel free. You can call in at 347-205-9183. Again, that's 347-205-9183. We're going to have such a good time today, and I think this is going to be an eye-opener. I'm doing something a little different for you, because I believe that this is time that we educate ourselves in a different perspective. Before I get all off into that, let me just say here that the tea room is open, or the chat room, for those of you who don't understand my lingo. It is open, so you're more than welcome to go over there and to dish your tea responsibly, please. Just please remember that over there in the tea room, honey, that this is the written word, and a lot of times when you read it, you may put your own emphasis on it and your own slants and things, and it may cause a disturbance. So don't get upset, and don't go throwing your computers out the windows and all that kind of jazz, honey. It is the written word. It's okay to disagree. Just please don't be disagreeable. So dish your tea over there responsibly, because if I see you going through changes, honey, I'm going to end it. I just cut it. Okay, I will cut you. Okay. So now if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, show ideas, need to do one of those fabulous old Dear Meach letters if you want some advice in your love life, your personal life, or whatever. I could get my Miss Cleo thing going on, whatever the case may be. And you can email me at bigmeach@dishingtea.com. That's bigmeach@dishingtea.com, okay? Or you can also go to the Facebook page, Dishing Tea with Big Meach, and you can do the same thing on the Facebook page as well. Now, when you go there, please know that there are two different pages. One is going to say entertainment, the other is going to say radio show. Both of them are mine, yes. You know, Facebook jacked me up, and when I created the second page, they ended up reinstating the first one. So I have two pages up. You can leave it as whichever one you come up to, and that'll be fine, okay? I do answer both. However, the one that says entertainment is the first one that I go to all the time. So that's just a little side note, okay? The Dishing Tea website is coming soon. I thought we were going to have it launched this week. However, it looked kind of cheesy, so we started back over. I'm just being real. Y'all know that. So we're starting over, and soon it'll be up and running. So that'll be dishingtea.com coming soon, okay? Now, here's my disclaimer here. This show is for mature audiences, and the language and subject matters are not appropriate for children or anyone not mature enough to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised. I'm going to repeat that. This show is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised. Now, for those of you who know me, fans of the show, y'all know I have a potty mouth. I make no excuses for it. So now is the time for you to govern yourselves accordingly. If you're at work and got your computers up loudly or whatever, govern yourself accordingly. Because I'm telling you, you bitches are not going to be sending me letters telling myself it was my fault that you got demerits on your jobs or whatever the case may be. Govern yourselves accordingly, please. Consider yourselves warned. You know I'm coming out of a bag. I just don't know which one. But do know that, honey, over here at Dishing Tea with Big Meach, honey, we give it to you like it's given to us. Fierce and fabulously wonderful, honey, never cynical or shady, okay? So, now with that, I'm going to say hello to my sponsors throughout the time of the show. Those are going to be my commercial breaks, okay, when we say hello to the sponsors. But I want to get into this because my guest today, I met this gentleman a few months ago over here at my donut factory job. And he was there with the convention. The American veterans were here, and they were celebrating their lives as veterans here. We were serving within the armed forces and things. And this young man struck me as interesting as he and I had a conversation about the armed forces. He was a recruiter. He's now retired. However, after having our conversation, I told him that I needed him to come onto the program so that we can see the armed forces or our military in a different light. I titled this show today, Taking Care of Business Uncle Sam's Way. And I'm going to stress the word business because what we're going to discuss today is the business side of what we know about the armed forces. So without any further ado, I want you to give me one T-sipping welcome. This is the one and only. He goes by Army Al. Hello there, Army Al. Thank you for coming onto the program. How are you today, sir? And there we go. You there? Al?
Can you hear me?
There you go. All right.
Yes. Okay, good. I was out in San Francisco for the last 3 weeks. Hello.
Hey,
hello?
Okay. I'm glad that we got you on the air, and thank you, my brother, for coming and to taking this time with us and to shedding some light on something that I think have many of folk wondering, wanting to get to the bottom of, because a lot of times when we think about the armed forces and things, first thing that comes to mind is, oh my God, they're going to war, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. So what I would like for us to do today is to just, discuss some things that possibly the general public may not really understand about the armed forces. And as a recruiter, we're going to take it from your particular standpoint. And when I say the business of it, we want to talk about what does all of this mean. So let's get started. And first off, explain to the people exactly what is the requirements or the job description of an Army recruiter or an Armed Forces recruiter.
Well, Big Meach, I want to thank you. And first, I want to let you know I was in San Francisco for about 3 weeks, freezing my butt off. It was 72 to 75 degrees every day. Couldn't wait to get back to Atlanta, hot Atlanta.
Was you freezing? Now, see, you want to start calamity over here.
Now, regarding the military, I help people in all branches of service, and there are 5. Now, what I'd like to do is have but first, I'd like to let everyone know out there, obviously, to throw out some numbers which really gives people attention. Firstly, for all the 5 services, daily 3 people per day. That's what
okay, wait a minute.
Fulfill.
Okay, hold on. Press pause. Because I think we just missed that. Your phone signal is going in and out on me. Try that one more time.
Okay, yeah. The military, okay. In hiring, is it a little bit better now for the reception?
There we go, yeah.
Okay, yeah. The military in its hiring, because we have 5 military services. We have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, the Reserves, and the Guard. Average 23 enlistments per day per state. By going into the military, it's not going to help people financially for the benefit of the country. A lot of people just cannot go into the military because we do not recruit that many. Okay? And I want to make that perfectly understood. Plus, recruiters, no matter which service, not get compensated not one penny for bringing people into the service. That is their job. They've been selected because of their performance to be a recruiter, and they do not compensated by bringing people in the service.
Oh, now that's important because, again, and that's one myth that's been dispelled because a lot of us have always thought, just like a lot of the pyramid schemes or, any other kind of business to where when you recruit folks in, you get some kind of commission or this, that, and the other. So that's one myth dispelled. The recruiters do not get any kind of commission or anything off of their recruitments coming in. So, all right, that's cute. So now why is it that the numbers are so low? Because, again, we have those who want to enlist and this, that, and the other. Why is that such a low number with each state like that? Oh, my goodness. I think we lost him. Okay, well, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, his signal was kind of faulty. Okay, we got him back. Here we go. Okay. Yep, we got him back. And he's right there. Okay.
Do you hear me? I had to move to a different location.
I got you.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. My question to you was, why is that number so significantly low as far as the recruitments for each state? Why is that such a low number?
Well, what it is not a requirement by each state. What the military takes in every year is about 180,000 people. That sounds like a lot of folks. God, that's a lot of people. But when you do it on a daily basis per state, that averages 23 people per state per day. Okay?
Wow.
So it's not a state requirement. Now, as far as minorities, okay, African Americans, okay, now the U.S. Army is the largest service in the military. We have the largest manpower pool. We have the largest females, members, and African Americans. Mm-hmm. Blacks average 50 enlistments per day nationwide. We average one black per state per day.
Wow.
And that will give you approximately about 12 to 13,000 members that join the Army every day, African Americans, but the average is one black per day per state.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
And that's what the information goes.
Interesting. Okay, well then, now, let me go here because what is all of this? I've seen on some news programs a while ago about these aggressive tactics that recruiters were using to get more so inner city and poor kids to come in and enlist into the military with the hopes of the GI Bill, with the hopes of having an income and this, that. Was that all a myth, or was that a bad bunch of recruiters that were going out, whatever? What was all of that? Because for that to be such a low number, it just seems as though the recruiter is just constantly out there.
Well, and that's a good point. And let's go back 3 or 4 years when President Bush wanted to expedite the war in Iraq and needed more troops. More people had to be recruited. A lot of pressure for recruiters to get young people. Now, for the military, they have standards that they have to meet to get young people in. We do not take the bottom one-third of any group, white, blacks, or whatever, because they basically do not qualify. Okay? Sometimes there are a few exceptions. Now this economy is in the toilet. The military is as selective as it's ever been. And it's really, really tragic because we know young people walk into our office and they may have a few issues in the past, but they will not get waivers to come in. In fact, if you think about it, you have seen very few military commercials on TV for recruiting purposes.
That's true.
That
is true.
That $400 or $500 million they're spending every year to entice people to come in, that's no longer a factor, and it's pretty much economy driven, and the military knows that.
Really?
And
really?
That's unfortunate because right now in the services, we do not look at GEDs unless they have one full semester of college-level courses. They must still pass the entrance. They must pass the entrance test. They cannot have tattoos visible on the face, high up on the neck, or the hands. They cannot be overweight. They cannot have legal issues that's going to require a waiver. the military, in essence, in the black community, is taking the best in their minds, only in their minds, as far as quality of high school grads or not going on to further education, because they have to meet those standards.
Really?
If you're a little bit overweight, go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish that.
Yeah. So if you're somewhat overweight, you have a better chance getting a job at Bank of America, Chase, Walgreens, whatever. The Army will turn you down. When recruits walk into the office, we look at discriminators on why they cannot come on board. Because we're pulling troops out of Iraq, the war is winding down, we do not need as many people, and obviously, as we all well know, the economy is in the toilet, and young kids want to come in and take advantage of the benefits.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Here we go. Now, the paradigm that I was going to say just a minute ago is that for the Army or for our armed services to be as selective, and particularly when it's dealing with education, of the people, and then for the education system to be in such peril, that there is such a paradigm, I believe, because years ago, a lot of folks was relying on the Army or to go into the military as a means of getting over because they were having school problems or because college was not an option for them. They couldn't pay for it or whatever the case may be. And now to hear that, now a lot of folks can't even go to the military as a throw-off, that's interesting.
And in my mind, Big Meach, that is tragic because the military has helped a lot of people, regardless of color, get on their feet, because when you're young, you make mistakes. But today, the military realizes within the next 3 or 4 years, based on this economy, we have a good time to get quality troops in. Because when the economy turns around, recruiters will get that much more difficult. Well, they're going for the quality now. And the issues for getting waivers, they're not being given. We don't have the time for it.
Wow. Okay, interesting. Now, you said something about, with the economy being the way that it is, a lot of folks turn to the military to take advantage of the benefits. Let's talk about that for a minute. Break that down, because a lot of folks, I know military people who've had problems with getting benefits and this, that, and the other. I've heard of folks who may have gotten benefits and maybe have served, maybe a year and a half, 2 years worth of time and ended up getting out on some kind of medical or some kind of whatever it was, and they got an honorable discharge, and now they're, quote unquote, living the life of Riley on their benefits, on their military benefits. So, explain how business, and I'm going from the business sense of it, folks who come in strictly for the benefits of it, how does our services look at that? Considering that, now they're saying, okay, we know y'all just coming up in here to fuck around with the shit.
Yeah. The military knows there are a number of reasons why people join the service. I can get away from home. I didn't like my boyfriend, girlfriend. My girlfriend is pregnant. I need to get out of here. But that's not going to stop them from paying child support, because once we find out they are the father, they will definitely pay. It will come out of their check before they even see it. Okay? Patriotism may be third or fourth down on the list. We have parents coming into the military because they need medical coverage for their children. Okay? The military does not mind with that attitude, because when they come in, it's up to the military to change that way of thinking, saying, okay, now it's duty, it's service first. When you go in the military, it's not like you're picking a vacation spot.
Right.
You serve the benefit of your country, okay? And obviously there are people that don't wish to serve, and that's why we have a military to protect that interest. I know a lot of friends of mine have no dealings with the service whatsoever. That's what America's all about, having different opinion. We don't have a draft, and with not having a draft, you have what's called unintended consequences. Rich folks don't serve. Yeah, rich folks do not serve, regardless of party, whether it's Republican or Democrats. They do not serve. Now, the military does not go down and help the people that are really down and out, because they have to pass all those requirements to come in. And you have to ask yourself, by not having a military, because that's what this country wants. Okay, we've been involved in conflict for 8 or 9 years. You have to ask yourself, if we had a draft, do you think the wars would have lasted that long if people had a vested interest in the conflict? So no matter what decision you make, there's always unintended consequences.
Wow.
The American public says we do not want a draft. I'm too busy trying to find a job, trying to support my family. People go in the military, well, God bless them. Hey, that's your doing. But they don't have to be vested in the war because they don't have any skin in the game.
Did you see that as a hindrance with our armed services for folks that don't have that vested interest, as you say?
Well, what happens for the politician, it works great in their interest because they're not going to get a lot of dissidents. The military lacks it because then they have nothing but volunteers, people that want to be there. Okay. So the military is going to be content. Politicians are going to be content with all volunteer force, as long as enough people step forward. And when they need troops, like a few years ago, they can lower the standards a little bit, offer more bonus money to entice people to come in. But now, the way the economy is right now, the military is literally taking the cream of the crop. And this is what's really scary. Now, I don't know if you know what an officer or enlisted personnel is, and some of your viewers will know that. The Air Force last officer selection board, these are civilians that want to go into the military as officers, and that's like a leader, management. They had 971 apply. They picked up 59 at the 971, and you must have a college degree minimum to apply. They picked up 5%, 6%, and they turned down 17 of those who had 4.0 GPAs in college. That's how bad the economy is.
Wow.
That's how bad the economy is.
Wow.
And that's why in the Army, I'm going to talk about a few services. In the Army, there's between a 4 and 6 month wait on average to get in. Air Force, Navy, it could be 10 to 12 months to get in and maybe a little bit longer. We have a line outside the door, and like any business venture, if you have that many people outside the door, you can raise the standards to cut down the numbers.
Really?
And that's why I like informing people that not have any dealings with the military to understand this, what's going on now. A lot of parents are calling and say, why can't my son adore to get in? This is the reason why. And it's really tragic because the catcher is, a parent calls and say, okay, my son got caught smoking marijuana. He went through the system. It was no big deal. And why can't he go in? Well, man, we have people in line for 6 months waiting, and they did everything right. Now, tell me why your son needs to get up in front of the line.
Wow. Okay, now, see, here's the thing. Now, as a recruiter, for those parents out there, because you said you're Army Al, the parent Al.
There you go.
For
kids
those
out of their home.
Okay. For those parents out there who may not be all for the decision that their child is making to go into the military, what is it that the recruiter does that number one, soothes the parents over, and then absolutely prepares the candidate, on the real for going into this thing? Because, before you answer that, I'm going to say this. I know, number one, I'm overweight, so I knew that wasn't going to get me. Number two, whatever this thing is about flat feet and military, I'm flat-footed, and I was told that was a fault or whatever. But number three, the biggest one, I am not one who likes authority. Okay, and I know that boot camp, they're hollering in my face and all of that. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell, oh, my God, no. And no, Jesus, help us all. Okay, so and that's me, and I know there's several of us like that. But for those who are candidates, what do you, as the recruiter or former recruiter, what did you do to actually be real with the candidate and soothe all of that over to prepare them for it?
Yeah, and good question, because a two-part question. You talk about the parents and the people that think about going in. Let's talk about the parents first.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when a child talks to their parents about possibly going to the military, I know the first thing that comes to that parent's mind is a flag-draped coffin. I can talk for the next 10 minutes to that parent, and that's what they're thinking of. Unfortunately, that does occur. But for the majority of people in the military, they are not involved in direct combat. Less than 10 to 15% do. The other 80% are supporting the people that have to go in harm's way. So I can understand a parent's perspective where they do not want to have that role reversal, where they raise that kid from birth, holding in their arms, providing their safety, their nourishment, where the kid makes a total reversal where they become the protectors. There's no logical parent in the world that's going to say, I agree with that. They'll respect them once they go in, but I know that nervousness will always be there with parents. Now, there are websites. Each service has family community meetings where you can talk to parents, try to soothe their issues. Okay? So I understand the parent's perspective saying, I do not want my child going in harm's way, because I know the first 10 or 15 minutes, that's all they can think about is that flag-draped coffin, because that does occur. Just like being a policeman. Because you have people working in the police department that never walk the streets. They're in the building, they maintain the jails or whatever. So that's the same way in the military. Very few people actually have to go in harm's way to do their job. Now, talking about the young people, well, one thing they have that I never had was the Internet. Because you can talk to all type of groups. You can talk to people in the service, ask them about their jobs, what they like, what they don't like. So you can actually, so what a recruiter tells you, you can get other information quickly to substantiate that.
Oh, dig it.
And for most recruiters, they'll do their job well because they're hand-selected. They're good performers in their job, and the military says, you'll be a great representative for us. I know you like your job, but going back in the community to serve your purpose as a recruiter. And of course, you're going to have bad apples because we recruit from the human race. When they find out about them, they'll either fire them, discharge them, or whatever the case may be, because that reflects negatively on the military, which the taxpayers pay their salary.
Interesting.
And once again, I don't know if it fell off the line before. Recruiters do not get paid for bringing people in the service. I want people to understand that 100%.
Okay,
get paid to recruit someone.
That is a very important point. I think we could stress that throughout the program, because that there is one of the things, because I have seen when I was 17 in high school. I know we're talking 1987. So at that particular time, it was the Marines who actually were coming through the schools and this, that, and the other. And the officer who was doing his thing, he and I had a battle of words. And I told you I don't like authority, and he pissed me off. Okay.
And you still remember it. You still remember that. That's just a few years ago, Big Meach.
Ooh, okay. And I know that, the tactics, he was very persuasive, and then he became very, more so because of my defiance to him. He kind of got this little bug in his eye, like, as if he was a drill sergeant, wherever he was, posted or whatever. And he gave me that glint, like, I'm going to get you, and I'm going to make sure you on my squad. That kind of thing. But I said all that to say, from the days of old, what we know from recruiters have been that aggressive tactic, that kind of like how we see football coaches and how they smooth over the players to get the players to come on the teams or whatever. It kind of had that same feel, and I want to just stress that you said that this is not a monetary gain for the recruiter. We don't get paid for this. This here is our job to go after and to seek quality folks to come on into the thing. So I want to make sure that we stress that point. Go ahead.
Let me just add one point in that. Okay. 90% of the recruiters, 90% of the recruiters and all the servers are non-volunteers. They did not volunteer because most people don't like being salesmen. They do not like rejection. But the military service says you are such a star performer in your job, no matter what it was, we want you to reflect that positive attitude in the community. So now here's someone doing a job that they really feel uncomfortable with and rejection. And if they don't do the job well, their career suffers.
Really?
If they do not meet their numbers, like 3 or 4 years ago when those recruiters in the malls, they don't make their numbers of getting people in, their career suffers. It's not like they're getting paid. It's not like getting paid extra. So in the recruiting business, there's an old famous saying that the reward for a great job is no punishment.
Okay.
Get the numbers in, there's no punishment. You don't get the numbers, help comes on you.
Is that right?
And you can understand why there's a lot of pressure.
Environment.
And unfortunately, about 3 years ago, there were like 2 or 3 suicides of recruiters being put in the position of going out, being pressured to get these kids to come in. And they have families and all the rest of this, and they have ambitions, and a lot of them just say, man, let me just go back to my job. No, your job as a recruiter, your job is to get the people in.
Interesting. I have a question over here in the tea room, and the question is, if we are looking at the high-end achievers and the creme de la creme of people to come into the forces, why is it that we're using them to possibly send them out at war or whatever, at worst case end, to send them out and they become a casualty? Wouldn't they do better as just regular citizens? And then you get these the ones that, for lack of a better word, are not the overachievers, and build them into something, or is that just too much time wasted?
Well, I understand that, but the question comes down: do we need the police department? I lived in Oakland, California, about 34 years. Last year, 4 cops were killed by an ex-convict. He was out of jail for a week. He killed 4 patrolmen. It's unfortunate that people step forward in those occupations, and you'll have casualties. And like I mentioned before, I like numbers. In World War II, we had over 400 fatalities a day. In the Korean War, it was 33. Vietnam War was 17 per day. And Iraq and Afghanistan is 2 a day. I'm not going to tell you where I stand on the war, but I voted for our present commander-in-chief, so you got to draw the lines. You got to draw the connections. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that when we send young people to harm's way, there will be consequences. Obviously, the numbers are going down, but 1 is too many. But when the elected representative sends people in harm's way, that's what happens. And you can't see firemen every day, and we have post-traumatic stress, and the military has that. I know there's thousands of cases. I guarantee you policemen have it. I guarantee you that firemen have PTSD. Teachers have PTSD because they see the students and see where the families, where they come from, and they're not making any progress with the students. So what the military suffers is other jobs out here working for the public that suffer the same consequences.
Interesting. Now, see, this opens up, and I don't know if this is an area that you may feel comfortable discussing because it may be a little kiltered. But that goes to those who don't make a career out of the military. They do their 4-year tenure or their 8-year tenure and then come out. What is the debriefing process? Because here's the thought behind that question. we all know that when folks go into the military system, you're being trained at the highest end, basically to protect this country, which means, for lack of tact, you training me to be a killer, okay?
Okay.
So after all of this training, and I'm done with my tour, what is the debriefing process for me to become a regular citizen again? Because now I don't have to rely on that, and be on point, if you will, at all times. How does you, as a recruiter, deal with that when you're laying all of this out for those who are looking at this objectively as a means?
Very, very important question. And what I'm going to try to point out is the number of people that actually have to fight the war, and they will definitely have consequences for doing it. If you take the Army or the Marines, because they have the ground troops, they have the people that go in harm's way, about 20, 25% maybe of those people in that service go in harm's way. 75% do not. And the Air Force, less than 10%, same way with the Navy that goes in harm's way. Doesn't mean they're not suffering, okay? But the number of people that do go in harm's way, the military obviously has programs, and the people that fall through the cracks because the military tries to get with industry saying, hey, can you hire a vet when they get out and what have you? They have programs, and obviously it's not 100% successful, and obviously it comes down to dollars and cents, how much money you'll put towards those programs and what have you. They know it's a problem. They know it's an issue, and whether or not they can solve it 100%, I doubt it, unfortunately. And the young people that fall through the cracks, they get out of Iraq or Afghanistan, they become homeless after they get out. Because they've been raised in an environment where everything was provided for them, and when they get out and make that transition, it doesn't work smoothly. So the military obviously knows that, because the military, believe it or not, they try to look after not only the members but the family members. They know the effects on this. Okay, it's not like we kick them to the curb and say, hey, best of luck to you and what have you. Okay. And there are a number that do extremely well. That's why the United States really became a world power. After World War II, these guys had all these benefits. Majority of them took advantage of it. And obviously you had World War II vets that were homeless, that didn't make it, but it wasn't reported back then. They had to have them that were shell-shocked and saw, death on a daily basis. And they couldn't come back to society. But as long as you have evil in the world, I don't care if you're in your local community or an international scene, you have to have people that have to go in harm's way, and that's the sacrifice they make.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Wow. I'm here's where my question is going, and again, this may be one of them off-kilter questions.
Okay.
With the military knowing this, that section of its transitioning soldiers back into civilian life exists. Is this part of the fight that a lot of, as a recruiter, is that something that you have to, possibly have a hard sell on? Because a lot of folks look at the treatment that a lot of the soldiers got from the Vietnam War, from other wars, where they come back and, they got mistreated, they were homeless, they couldn't get health insurance, and all of that ugliness that is the flip side of the greatness of what our military is. Is that a hard sell for you, in order to get folks to understand it? Is that something that the military is fighting for, to try to make peace with, or to try to bring in arm holes or strong arms to do something about it? What is that?
Well, it's interesting. Recruiters obviously are trained somewhat in that area, but normally a young person wouldn't ask that type of question unless their parents brought that up. Say, what happens after you get out of the service, okay? And that's a big influence on recruiting. It's what their coaches, the mentors, their parents think of the military. But usually for young people, we can tie it down to 4 things why they go into the service: travel, get the hell out of their hometown; educational benefits if they want to expire, academically; adventure, because some people, believe it or not, want to jump out of airplanes. Some people want to carry guns, just like cops want to carry guns. And do that thing. And the other could be money and security. In fact, a little story. I had one man, he said he joined the Air Force in 1970. And he said from day one he knew he was career. And I said, how can you make that determination when you went at 19? He said, Al, I came from a family of 13 brothers and sisters, and there were days if you didn't get to the table quick enough, you didn't get anything to eat. He said, when I went in the Air Force the first day and saw all that food to eat, and they told me I'd go back, to seconds, he said it was a done deal.
Lord, okay.
It's a done. So there's many reasons why people go in, but that was his number one reason. He said, man, you can feed me every day, bam, it's a done deal. So people have so many reasons for going in. Okay, and a lot of times it doesn't work out what they expected because the military is not a vacation; it's a duty, it's a service. Like case in point, there's a hospital ship. Let's say it has 800 sailors that had to go to New Orleans for the tragedy. Japan, they worked their butt off, and you can't tell me there's 800 sailors on that ship that love their job. You can't say all 800 just love what they were doing. Because I think some sailors say, I can't wait to get the heck out of the Navy. But that job needed to be done to save those people that in those disaster areas. So it's service and duty. It's service and duty, and obviously have benefits. And the big thing we haven't talked about is educational benefits, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But once again, recruiters do not get paid to bring people in the service.
Lord, well, hold on. Let's take a break there. Let's do a commercial break, and we'll be right back right after this.
Okay.
Hey. Are you looking for that special place to take someone for a good down-home Southern meal and some live entertainment? Well, have I got the place for you. Right here in the underground Atlanta, we have the Georgia Peach Restaurant and Lounge. Enjoy Southern hospitality and Southern fusion cuisine. This is the perfect place to dine and mingle while experiencing a home-like atmosphere. Stop by and enjoy invigorating jazz and blues music with live entertainment on the weekends. We're open Monday through Saturdays. Lunch is served from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. Dinner served from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. Appetizers from 10 p.m. until close. Sunday brunch, 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you are a government employee, military personnel, or airline employee, you will enjoy a 10% discount on all of your dine-in food. Located in the underground Atlanta, right there at Kenny's Alley in the heart of Atlanta, you have the Georgia Peach Restaurant and Lounge. For more information, contact them at 404-348-4300. That's 404-348-4300. Or go online and look them up at www.dinegapeach.com. That's www.dinegapeach.com. The Georgia Peach Restaurant and Lounge. Southern hospitality and Southern fusion cuisine.
Maybe about 1:15. Hello?
Hello, I'm Sherry Mack from East Atlanta, and I'm dishing tea with Big Meach on Blog Talk Radio.
Well, all right, we're back. All right, we are back. And if you're just tuning in right now, we are taking care of business Uncle Sam's way. We have here Mr. Army Al giving us the 411 and dishing his tea about the business side of the military, the kind of stuff that we as regular folks don't think about or really understand. When we think about military, we always go for the obvious stuff, but this is the kind of stuff here that I think will always end up hitting home with folks and then put the military into a different perspective so that we can understand that this, too, like everything else, is a job and it is a functioning business and it has overhead, it has requirements, it has job descriptions, it has all of that so folks can understand what this is. All right. So now we're here, and we're just sitting down, going through the business ends of it, and I'm loving this. I'm loving this. But now let's go into this particular area here, because you said something earlier that I think upsets a lot of people, and that is, let's be honest, rich people or those who are affluent do not serve in our armed forces, and it seems as though a lot of us have the idea that it's the inner cities that get hit a lot when it comes down to the recruitment and when it comes down to enticing our young folks to want to go into the armed services. Is there going to be some kind of cap on that? Is there going to be some kind of something that we can do to where I understand it's a choice, for those who want to go in, but is there some kind of something that can be done to where it doesn't seem as though it's us versus them within our country? It's almost like an internalized, unspoken civil war between the rich and the poor.
Well, in fact, what it comes down to in the military is not a question about a war between the rich and the poor. It's the rich and the working class. Because, unfortunately, poor people that are educated in schools that are failing, they do not qualify to even come into the service. So what it comes down is the working poor, it's the middle class that serve. Now, what's interesting, when you talk about rich folks, a lot of rich folks, it doesn't enter their mind to serve in the military because they don't look at it as a duty that they have to perform, like jury duty or paying taxes. So if you do not associate yourself with people in the military, it doesn't even come into your mind. That's why doctors have sons as doctors or daughters as doctors, or plumbers have their sons in the business, or lawyers have kids practicing law. If you're not exposed to the military, if you don't have any friends, you just don't know. Because I think I opened your eyes a little bit about the military, not for you to join, but you may have a different perspective on the military where you may speak to someone in a different tone.
Yeah.
But you're not exposed, and the well-to-do are not exposed. They don't know anyone in the military. They had all these preconceptions, okay? But you got to tear those down. And it's unfortunate that the military says we can't reach those people because the rich, and I don't care what color you are, you don't have black entertainers have their kids in the service, or rich white folks have their kids in the service. Am I right or wrong? It's a money issue. It's a class issue.
You got a point there.
Both. And that's unfortunately the way it is. Will we ever bring back the draft? Hell no. Okay? First, I'm not going to give you my opinion, but when the war first started off back in 2003, Charlie Rangel, that black congressman from New York, said, we need to have rich folks have a chance to serve. And he wanted to bring back the draft. They said that was the quickest legislation ever passed through Congress. They had 402 no's and 2 yeses because they know that's political suicide. So the draft will never come back in this country anytime soon.
Wow.
The kids that can't even read or write don't learn how to vote no on the ballot. So politics will not touch that. They will not touch that. So the military has to make do what they have, like I said, offering bonus money when they need this. But the other thing about the military, which you may not know, the military lays off people. A lot of people may say, the military is guaranteed employment. The Army's on record the next 2 years they have to lay off 30,000 soldiers. Okay? And basically what they'll do, they'll take the non-performers, the people that had issues with authority, they'll just cut them loose.
Are you going to tell me? No. Really?
Exactly right. The military is not a jobs program, believe me. Congress stipulates every year how many people the military can have, and they have to do a juggling act because they have to say, well, how many people we think are going to get out, how many people are going to stay, and they have to keep those numbers. And in case of the Army Marines, Bush took on an additional like 30,000, 40,000 soldiers in 2007, and Congress said, that's fine and dandy, but in year 2014, we want those soldiers gone. So you have to give pink slips.
Wait a minute. I don't remember covering that in history. Congress sets the number of soldiers that are allowed in the...
Exactly right.
I don't remember learning that.
No. They establish the budget. They tell the military exactly how much money they can spend in personnel costs.
The budget.
It's the budget. Everything's dollars and cents. Everything, boom. Military has an HR department, human resources, and they got to make those things match. And when when President Obama says, "Hey, we're cutting the defense budget, $400 billion over the next 10 years," the axe is coming. The military knows that. And they said that's okay because we'll have the star performers. The people that want to leave, and there'll be a number of people that don't want to leave because they know what the job market is, and they'll be leaving anyway. That'd be second to say thank you very much for your service. Now it's time for you to move on. That's why we only take in 23 a day per state, nationwide. We only hire like maybe 1,200 people a day throughout the whole country for all the military services. We don't have unlimited budgets where we just say people say, "Oh, we'll just give them a job and all this kind of stuff." Can't do it. And that's why the military is not the salvation for turning this economy around. It's business. The military cannot make a dent on unemployment numbers in this country. Because we only have a million. We only have like a million. We have a million, maybe 500,000 members in all the military. Maybe about 2 million all in the military. We can double tomorrow. That's not going to make a dent in the economy.
Wow.
It's a business, Big Meach, like you said. It's a business.
Wow. See, wow. Now, let me go here because, see, we talked about the soldier that goes in that gets broken down, because like I said, I'm one of them authority buffs, child. I just keep throwing it out there. But what about that soldier? Because, we see this a lot, too. The ones that the military make, they come in already crazy, and then they come out even more crazy.
Okay.
It's like they done learned about these guns and then became obsessed with it. What?
Well,
is there anything that y'all do with that when you sit down to discuss all of the ramifications, or does that question come up?
Yeah. Here's the main thing, okay? I'm going to talk about the Army in particular. The Army was regulated in Congress in the early 1990s. When these kids come in, they'll know the job they're going to do. If you don't like the job, you don't have to go in, okay? Now, when they go in the service, let's say they want to be an air traffic controller, and they don't do their homework, and they flunk out of the school, the Army says, guess what? You're not leaving us. We'll find you another job, okay? Unless they're just totally disobedient, then they may just throw them out, okay? And that way they get no benefits and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Okay? So the majority of these young people I know in the Army, they know their particular skill when they go in. And it's just up to whether or not they want to do it. Now, what's interesting, because I know it's a very emotional issue, and sometimes when you're dealing with emotion, you have to go after and look at the facts, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to go back to the Vietnam conflict. Black Americans, about 13% of the population. We were 13% of the fatalities in Vietnam, pretty much. Now, some people say, well, there's been no blacks over there. I understand that. But I'm just saying there wasn't more blacks killed in proportion to the numbers in America, which is unfortunate in itself. Okay? And it's the same way the military today, especially talk about African Americans, what happens in the mindset of when a white person joins the service and a black person is two different areas. A young white person may want to come in and say, listen, I grew up with guns, I want adventure, I want to be tested. Okay? I want to go infantry, I want to go to skill that may take me in harm's way. People that come from the working class, that come in, minorities, a lot of times they say, listen, I'm looking for a skill. I don't need to go in harm's way. Can I work on computers? Can I work on logistics? Can I work in transportation? And if you look at the military, those fields are high in number with minorities. So the people So, and this is the thing I like to let people know because they have that option of where they want to go. Because this is going to be kind of funny, and you may have to hit the buzzer on it. But I talked to a young person. I said, well, do you want to be a hero or a Negro? If you want to be a hero, I'm going to put you in a job that's going to take it harm's way. If you want to be a Negro, I'm going to put you in a job where you'll be safer. You tell me what you want.
Get out of here.
But at least when I ask that question, I know where they stand with what they want to do in the service. A lot say, listen, I'm just going in to get the benefits, get to college, and move on with my life. The military says, all we want you to do is come in, do your job well, and take your benefits and move on. And best of luck to you. But obviously you have young people that make that decision, go in harm's way, not really understanding the ramifications of that. And when they go in harm's way, can they deal with the aftermath? And obviously there are people that cannot. Because I know there are cops that can't deal when they see their first killing.
Right.
Their marriage may dissolve and they'll go to alcohol or drugs or whatever.
Wow. Wow.
I'm not putting too much on the plate there, Big Meach.
No, this is fabulous. Because, as I said, as I'm sitting up here, I'm going through all of this. It is really, 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 wow. Oh, okay. It's just very informative for me. Now let me go here because I know in our school systems, again, since education is paramount. Does those who have been in our ROTC programs, I don't even know if they still exist in the schools anymore, but the ROTC programs, yes they do, because they still have the military balls and all of that.
Yeah.
While recruiting, are those particular kids looked at more favorably because they got I call the ROTC like the preliminary to going into the military, just to give you a little taste of what this may be for you. Are they looked at with or revered at any kind of higher standards than maybe somebody else, or what is that?
Yeah, a valid point, and we're talking about JROTC, which is in high school. I assume that you talked about not college, right? You talked about high school?
Yeah, high school.
JROTC? Okay, great. Okay, so basically what that does, obviously it gives young people structure and discipline, gives them self-confidence, because they're working in an organization, and obviously JROTC, they talk about, sacrifice, selfless sacrifice. You're doing something other than for yourself. But they say on average maybe 10, 15% of those kids go into the military when they finish high school. You would think it'd be a very high number. That's never been the case. But it doesn't matter because if they get the structure and discipline early in life, they can use that down the road. Because that's the big thing about the service. We'll take you out of your comfort zone. We'll give you discipline, structure, and you'll be feeling more confident because you'll do stuff you never even thought possible.
Wow. Okay. Now let's get into that whole educational component of this a little bit more extensively, because we hear about this GI Bill. I know folks who have been in the service, and now I don't know all of their backstory. All I know is I've heard I went in for 4 years. I was promised I was supposed to get, they was going to pay for my college, but if I didn't enlist for another 4 years, that they were only going to pay for 2 years of my college and this, that, and the other. Explain that, the educational benefit of that for those who are looking to go in under that particular clause or for that particular reasoning?
And you just hit the grand prize, because that's what I was able to do, okay, in my career selection. Let me talk about the GI Bill for a minute, okay? And Big Meach, I give credit to people when credit is due, okay? President Bush, my stomach's almost turning, but it's settled. He passed this new GI Bill for these kids that's effective for anyone that joined the service after 2001, September.
Mm-hmm.
If you get out of the service and if you qualify to get into school, because the military is not going to help you go to a university, you got to meet the university standards, okay?
Okay.
The GI Bill is this. Any public state university, any public university in any state is tuition free. In fact, when they know that you serve honorably in the military, honorably, you can't have a dishonorable discharge, you got to do your job, the school bills the government. You do not even get a tuition bill for 4 years, okay? You have to do that within 15 years. There's a window that you have to expedite this, okay? But that's full-time, okay? Now, not only do they pay tuition, and they pay for a private school, but each state has a certain limit. So let's say here in Georgia, the max tuition for any state school is $15,000, and you went to a private school that's $20,000, like Morehouse, then you have to come up with your $5,000.
Okay.
So they'll pay for any state university, okay? They pay not only that, once a year they give them $1,000 in cash in hand once a year to pay for their textbooks. So the tuition is paid for, the books are paid for. And last but not least, they give them a monthly housing allowance they can use for rent, which is not taxable. That's based on zip code. So here in Atlanta, it's $1,200 a month cash. In California, I just left San Francisco, it's $2,800 a month because the cost of living is higher.
The cost of living is higher,
I can look at any young person out here and say, not only can I guarantee you a free college education, I want to pay your butt to go to school, but you're going to earn it first. You're going to serve your nation in one of the armed forces. And remember, we don't take many. We take 23 per day per state.
Wow.
That's the GI Bill that Bush signed. In fact, what is interesting, Bush declined that at first. And they said, why, President, would you decline? They said, well, we understand what you want to do with the people that serve 4 years and get out. But what about the career types, the people that stay in for 20, 30 years? He said, okay, if they stay in more than 10 years, if you don't use that GI Bill, you can pass it down to your children and to your spouse. The members of the service that may not put one penny aside for college for their kids, knowing if they didn't use that GI Bill for whatever reason, they can pass it down to their spouse or children.
Oh, okay.
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 And that's why I'm so hopped up, because you know as well as I know, Big Meach, it's great for people to say, yeah, I'm going to college, but today's economy, you have to excel academically. If you're going to school and you're working 30 hours a week at Blockbuster trying to make ends meet, your GPA is going to suffer, and guess what? You're not getting hired. You may as well take that money and go down to a racetrack. Hopefully with this GI Bill, I tell these kids, let's say Georgia, for example. They get accepted at University of Georgia. I said, okay, you're a veteran. You get $1,200 a month. You should find another veteran. You guys become roommates. That's $2,400 a month that you have to pay for your rent, living expenses. Now you can excel academically. You can put your focus on studies.
Interesting. Now here's something.
But you know, that's just my passion, Big Meach. That's just my passion.
Okay, right. But let me stay on your passion, because I have someone over here in the tea room, Pharaoh's Treasure Box. He said, I found it hard to go to school while in service because of the frequency I was moved and transferred and the overseas locations. Does that, does that become problematic? He served in the Marines.
You betcha. And let me. I think I got the gist of your question. I was in the Army for 4 years. I was only able to take 3 college classes. Now, back in my day, you had to attend the classroom. Now you have it online. It's up to you. After all your work, do you have the time to put in academically to do this stuff online or whatever? So the military is not going to say, oh, why don't you just take off today and go study or go class? That's not happening. If you're on a board a ship or whatever, you can't get to a classroom, the military says that's not our issue. That's not our problem. But for those who take classes while they're in the military pays up to a certain amount as far as tuition costs, which doesn't even affect their GI Bill.
Interesting.
So I was only able to do 3 classes in 3 years, but maybe somebody was able to do a master's in 3 years because their job allowed them, when they got off work, to complete their studies. My job, that was not the case.
Wow. Now let me ask this question, because here's something that it kind of bothers me, but it bothers me just on the surface right now because I don't understand it. It's kind of like the whole thing of the dishonorable discharge, okay? And as you're out or as you were out, I don't know if that question came up, but as a person who becomes dishonorably discharged, see, when I was a kid or considering or the military was presented to me as an option that I wasn't going to take. But it was always about, once you get stamped as dishonorable, you ain't diddly squad. You can't do nothing because no one was, our country would not look at you as anything. And for me, it's equivalent to a prisoner who has served their time, and yet they're always known as a felon. And now they can't get a job. They can't do this because businesses and corporations don't want to be bothered with all of that. What, break that down, in the realness of a dishonorable discharge for those, as you're recruiting, and you have to tell them, okay, look, if you don't do your damn job, these are the consequences.
Unfortunately, what I mentioned before, we get people from Mother Earth. We have military prisons. We have people in jail for rape and sodomy and all the rest of this kind of stuff, and they're serving their time. Usually with a dishonorable discharge, that's a felony conviction. So obviously a felony is a felony. It doesn't matter if it comes from the military, it comes from the civilian world. You're a marked person. You're a marked person. And believe me, if you ask the military court system, do you like getting a lot of dishonorable discharge? Say, man, do you think I want to work? When these kids create problems, we have to take care of it. Some of it, obviously, these kids may get railroaded. It may be a personal issue. Hopefully, and that's all society, because there's some innocent people in jail right now that should not be there, but unfortunately, the more guilty people that are free that need to be in jail.
Right. Wow.
But, dishonorable discharge, and it's unfortunate because I know people get emotional sometimes, say, I don't care, give me a dishonorable, I just want to get out of here. And they say, that's what you want, no problem. Make do with yourself.
Wow.
But obviously when young people come in, they're told about the military justice system because there's certain things you cannot do. You cannot quit your job. You cannot say any discouraging remarks about no matter who's the president. If anybody comes up and says, in uniform, F you, Obama, he'd be thrown in jail. Military doesn't play. We don't play. Because our taxpayers expect that. That GI Bill, that's at least $150,000. We don't want any kids walking around with tattoos on their forehead saying, who's my daddy? Or wearing their pants low to the ground. Taxpayers are paying too much for these young people to serve. You got people living under bridges paying taxes, maybe. So the people that serve, we have certain standards, you're going to meet us. Because you can't change the military. I don't care who you are going to the service. I had a young Caucasian young man I put in. He came back from basic training. And I said, how tough was basic? He said, Mr. Walton, they treated me just like a Negro. Because everybody starts out the same.
That's funny.
It's a level playing field. It's a level playing field. And that's what America's supposed to be.
Exactly.
That's what America's trying to aspire to be. Well, the military gives it from day one because we don't care who your parents are. We don't care how much money you got.
Okay, well then let's go here since we're on level playing fields. Sure. Let's go here with the repeal of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Good,
now that we're here with all of this, there's a lot. I know several people who may not be as masculine men or as feminine women who are willingly wanting to serve their country and wanting to go into the armed forces. Does that become a hindrance? Because, again, we're talking about going for the creme de la creme. Does that become a hindrance in that process? Because, or is that one of those, again, in dealing with business, every business has those unspoken code of ethics or whatever, and carrying on that, okay, you got your application, but okay, because you didn't dot your T's right or whatever, you put little hearts instead of dots on your I's, your application goes in the garbage. Now that we have that, what is that now at this stage of the game? Because we know what it was prior to it being repealed.
Exactly right. Now, I don't think as of today it's been repealed, but it should be done by the end of this year. I know there's a lot of pressure to have it done by Obama's administration. And you have to understand that the military, just like the police department, very conservative organizations. I'm glad to see this come into play because you had thousands of gay people that were worried about losing their jobs and no one ever knew. But they had to worry about being outed. Okay? So for integrity, I'm glad this is being laid to rest. Now, if you come in and act flamboyant in a conservative organization, you can expect trouble. The military is a conservative organization. You do your job. They say, because right now the military cannot even ask if you're gay coming into the service. But I understand what you're saying is if they act a little bit differently, well, they may suffer consequences when it comes up for promotion. Okay. And because, we had problems with integration of blacks coming to the military, had problems with females, still have them, because as far as I'm concerned, there's too many rapes. One rape is enough. There's not a lot of assault, but there's a sexual assault in the military. I'd like to get rid of that. They have classes on that. I know they have classes on the gay issues and what have you, but the gay people in the service right now know it's conservative. They keep it under wraps, but coming out, and I'm not saying flaunting in your face, but acting like you normally want to act, it may have repercussions. Only in career fields it shouldn't be that way. But it's something that's going to take time to adjust to. I basically have a lot of women calling them and say, hey, listen, it's not all rosy being a woman in the military. You're going to have blacks call them. You're going to have white people call them and say, hell, it ain't rosy for me either. But there will have to be an adjustment period, and I'm glad it's coming to an end because I wouldn't want to worry about me losing my job if I'm doing my job well. And when I do outside the confines of that, hey, we still live in America.
Exactly. Considering that, there's a lot of well-decorated gay soldiers, well-decorated,
I guarantee you within a couple of years there'll be a gay week in the military where gays will be able to come out and, and look what they accomplished and all the rest of that kind of stuff. The military is kind of slow to adjust, but the military moves a heck of a lot faster than society. Because one thing I will not do, I will not apologize for the affirmative action programs the military has in place to get minorities and women in positions of power. If you want to take that heat, bring it to unions, bring it to corporations, bring it to other jobs that don't have the type of affirmative action the military has. We got generals all the way. In fact, there's so many black generals in the Army now, they don't even know each other. Before, it used to be on one hand.
Right.
Oh, great, there's another book.
Wow.
I just wish it would go that way in the corporate world. And it's so funny.
Okay.
If you look at the universities, that liberals don't want ROTC, say, they're unequal for gays and all the rest of the kind of stuff. Ask how many gays they have on the faculties. Ask them how many minorities they have on their faculties at these liberal universities.
Okay,
where it counts.
Interesting. Wow.
I want to stick up for the military a little bit. That's, on this phone. And I'm not here to change anyone's mind, but I just want them to get some extra food for thought today.
Exactly. All right, now, here it is. Now, we're here in knowing all of the handicaps now that are in place, in saying that, okay, you got a 1 in 23 shot today. Okay.
Okay.
What would you suggest if anyone is considering to go into the services now, at this particular time, right now?
Okay.
What would you suggest? That they look into research or whatever. What's your recommendations?
And having access to the internet is just unfathomable. The big thing is determines your job is your test scores on the ASVAB. Now, that stands for Armed Forces Vocational Battery Test. It's the same test given to all services. Each service has a different minimum score, okay? But based on your score determines what job you can get. So obviously, you want to get the highest score possible. So, and you can study for the military. Says there's no surprises. There are books out there. You can go to Barnes & Noble, and obviously you can study for the exams.
Oh, wow.
And if you do well, you have options to you. There's a little bit of bonus money, but you have to score very high. We used to give bonus money to everybody, but now with the economy the way it is, we don't have to. But
right.
So obviously, no legal issues. None. Cannot be overweight. No tattoos on the face, upper neck, or on the hands. Something that's visible when you're wearing a business suit. Just cannot be racist or sexist or whatever. Not getting in. American taxpayer says, nah, we don't want you. You meet our standards.
Okay. What about the drug testing? What do they do? I know they have to check for everything because marijuana is such a recreational drug.
Yeah.
To where I know those coming from the hood, half of them ain't getting in because they can't pass the fucking drug test. A lot of folks, that's why they can't get jobs.
So obviously, what they have to do is get that out of their system. I don't know. I'm not the drug paraphernalia, but if it takes 5 or 6 months to clean yourself, then you don't take it 5 or 6 months. And pray to God you don't use drugs in the service because people that test the system, they're burned. In the military, we operate in a drug-free environment. And they're starting to look at people that have DUIs that's throwing them out of the service. So your taxpayers are paying too much for your butt to act like a fool. Your butt's gone. Your butt's gone. A DUI will get you out of the service. A DUI may not even get you in the service because you have too many people waiting in line to have unblemished records. Like that mother said, why can't my son go in? I said, give me a good reason why your son needs to go to the head of the line.
Okay.
Where everybody else did exactly what they were told to do. I'm listening. I'm listening. Tell me why your son is doing so special. I'm listening.
Wow. Well,
remember, the military knows for the next 3 or 4 years they can get quality people in. When the economy turns around, then obviously the military will lower their standards a little bit to get young people in. But right now, they are in the driver's seat.
Wow. Well. Interesting. Okay, Mr. Army L. Here, let's do this. Because after this kind of information, are you available for speaking engagements and things like that? What is it that you do if folks want to get in contact with you?
As long as it's in the Atlanta area. If you want me to go to Paris, France, or some other piece of town, that's not a problem.
You are silly.
But, yeah. But I think when we talk, I think you realize the passion I have. And I'll be doing this until there's no dirt on my face. So,
all right, now. All right. Well, then give the folks a way of contacting you if they want more information to bring you in to speak or whatever the case may be. How can the audience get a hold of you?
Yeah. I'll give them my email address, and I'll spell it very slowly. Everybody get a pencil and paper, give them a few minutes or whatever. And just let me know when you want me to give it.
Whatever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
What's it?
I'll spell it phonetically for you folks. Apple, lemon, whiskey, Yankee, November, 2, Nancy, David, at gmail.com.
All right. Y'all got that? That's Alwyn2nd at gmail.com.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay,
so
for more information. Go ahead. No.
Yeah. Whenever I try to copy, people say it too fast on the radio, and I just give up. So hopefully the people have it. And you have it, so if they call into your station, you can give it to them.
Exactly. I'm going to post that up. Well, see, they could, anybody who can, this will be in the archives anyway, so they can always go back and pick it up and listen to it. They can download it and all of that.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, once again,
no,
I'm not in recruiting. I'm retired military. I work with all the recruiting agencies, but I have not been wrong since 1922, and I can verify that.
Okay. Well, you know, before I let you go, here is an interesting question that I don't even know if the military has even dealt with this, and that is those who are transsexual.
You know,
has that ever been a problem?
That is an interesting question. I have no idea. I have no idea on that. That's why I've never been wrong, because if I don't know something, I admit it right off the bat. So I have no idea. That's a valid question.
Yes.
It's a valid question.
Okay.
I know they don't take handicapped people. Like you have a missing limb or something like that, they don't take.
Right.
But it's a valid question, and I thought you would bring it up earlier. I don't have a clue.
Well,
because, see, the question is, they can't ask you.
Okay.
So you go to the recruiting office, they cannot ask you if you're gay. They can't ask you if you're straight. They can't ask you if you're transsexual. They cannot ask that question.
Okay.
So I don't know how to. I just have no idea how they're going to deal with the issue. Good question.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see in the future then, don't we? I'm sure a landmark case will come soon. Anywho. Well, you know, I want to thank you for your time, for coming on here and break. I feel so enlightened with this conversation because I'm like, wow. You know, when you look at this from a business standpoint, it is standard business practices like everything else. You know, even some of the cutthroatness and all of it is standard. Business is business. And wow.
And what's interesting, Big Meach, in about 25 minutes, 1500, 3 o'clock for civilians, I'm having a young man come over, has a BS and an MBA, and when I spoke to him, he was changing tires and discount tires.
Wow.
That was his job. So I want this man to come in as an officer, get some leadership experience, and pay off his student loans, because we've had the $65,000 in student loans if you go into the Army. So he has MBA debt. And look, we have a plan of attack. Boom, come in, officer, learn leadership skills, get some money, serve 3.5 years, get your loans paid off, and move on down the road, if you want.
Well, I say all right. Well, okay then. Wow. Wow.
Well,
all right.
I got to get back to work, Big Meach, and I'll make that phone call.
Yes, you do that, and wow. That's what I'm just fascinated with this. So thank you so much for coming on to the show. And hey, we did it.
and I just hope you don't get too much heat for my little performance. That's all.
Oh, please, child, I can handle the heat. Okay.
Okay, right. Well, listen, let me get out here and go back to work.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Bye-bye now.
And have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here. That there was Army L, and giving it to you, baby, the way it is. That was very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. But I want to thank you. Let me say, I got so involved in this. All of my sponsors, honey, I wanted to say thank you to Trade A Management and PR firm, Pharaoh's Treasure Box, Parisian Wine Productions, Each of Vidal Couture, Big Brothers Network, the Caribbean Boys Enterprises and Entertainment, Kissing After Dark, and Swirl Films. Without you, honey, there is no me. I thank you for coming on. For those of you, next week we're going to be talking about tattooing and the whole culture of what that is. Go to the Facebook page. Y'all know I have a book out now, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along the Spiritual Journey. I want you to go grab that. You can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com, Awake Big Meach, for more information and to place your orders. And now I'm going to digress, honey. I have just been enlightened, and I thank you for dishing all of your tea with me. So now you can finish all of your crumpets, honey, because the tea has been dished. Tell a friend if you love me. Tell an enemy if you hate me. But one thing is for certain, this thing will go forth. Until the next time that we talk, honey, I bid you all a great adieu, and I want you guys to have fun here. So until next time, honey, ciao.